Whatsoever things are true, a promise made over 100 years ago. Today we are gathered in this university community to celebrate this commitment to ourselves and to each other. We celebrate with our students and professors, the non-academic staff and support staff, the administration, those who volunteer on the University Board of Governors, Senate, and Alumni Council, and all who promote sound education in our community. We celebrate with all those who leave here today with their degrees. May you continue to pursue more steadfastly whatsoever things are true. May you continue to serve in your global home. May you continue to grow in wisdom and grace. And may the University of Alberta always be a home of truth and wisdom, a community filled with promise for the future and goodwill toward all. Please be seated. Welcome to the University of Alberta. My name is Doug Stollery, and I have the privilege of serving as Chancellor of this university and conferring your degrees today. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. On behalf of the entire university community, I'm delighted to welcome you to this convocation. We're very pleased that so many friends and family members could join us as we celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. This is a ceremony full of traditions. What do they mean? Convocation is a Latin term meaning a gathering together of all qualified degree holders in a university community. This tradition dates back almost 700 years. As you participate in today's ceremony, you are walking in the footsteps of many generations of scholars. Today's formal opening procession to the stage, led by our Chief Marshal and the University Mace, originates in the procession of the Guild of Teachers. Such guilds in past centuries were dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, with individuals moving from apprentice to master to teacher. You will have noted the many different academic gowns, hoods, and caps here on stage today. These reflect centuries of university tradition. Your own academic gowns date back to the Middle Ages. The different colors and designs signify the degree you have earned. Your caps, the Oxford-style mortarboards, celebrate your independence and freedom as scholars. Our celebration will begin with formal greetings from our Board of Governors and the province of Alberta. Our first address to Convocation will be from University of Alberta President Dr. David Turpin. Our second address to Convocation will be from Mr. Dennis Anderson, who has accepted an invitation to receive an honorary doctorate of laws, our university's highest honor. An honorary degree recognizes inspiring role models and leaders, celebrating extraordinary achievements or remarkable service to society. Following the presentation of the honorary degree, we will begin the recognition of your degrees. After you are presented to the community on behalf of the faculties, our president will guide you through your pledge. It will then be my great honor to admit you to your degrees. It will then be your turn up here with us. Each of you will cross the stage as your name is called. For everyone here, that will be the most important part of our ceremony. Your degree will be conferred as I congratulate you and we shake hands. So it is important to remember to shake hands. That moment will bind you and the University of Alberta together for all time. Your families and friends are witness to that commitment, as are all the members of our platform party. Joining the celebration at the center of the stage with me today is our President, Dr. David Turpin, and the Chair of our Board of Governors, Mr. Michael Fair. And I'm very pleased that our Dean and professors from our Faculty of Agricultural, Life, and Environmental Sciences, as well as the Dean of Graduate Studies and Research, are here to congratulate each graduate as you cross the stage. I'd also like to recognize Elder Elsie Gauthier, who is here today to extend a special note of congratulations to our Indigenous graduates as they receive their degrees. Our distinguished guests on the Convocation stage include past University of Alberta honorary degree recipients, chancellors from other post-secondary institutions, members of our Board of Governors, Senate and Alumni Council, members of government and civic leaders, members of the Consular Corps community, members of our senior leadership team at the University of Alberta, including our Vice Provost, leaders from the associations representing our graduate students and our academic staff, and especially professors from our faculties, your Guild of Teachers. We're all here to celebrate and to welcome you to our alumni family. I hope you enjoy the day. I would like to start by inviting greetings from the Chair of our Board of Governors, Mr. Michael Fair.
Eminent Chancellor, Mr. Douglas Dalry, President David Turpin, distinguished guests, graduates, families, and friends. I'm pleased to be here today to bring greetings on behalf of the Board of Governors. Convocation is a special time when the entire university community gathers to celebrate your tremendous achievements. Indeed, the university has much to celebrate, but today we especially gather to celebrate you, the graduating class of 2017. You have achieved a level of excellence which will be forever recognized in your university degree, a University of Alberta degree. Representing the Board of Governors, I and the full board are committed to excellence today and tomorrow, providing excellence in teaching and research that has supported you and will support those that follow in our ever-changing world. Alberta and Canada are a great place for all of us, and great because of this graduating class of 2017. Your degree is a sign of your achievement at the University of Alberta. It is also a signal to others that you're the kind of citizens that bring knowledge, understanding, and skills to the society we live in. Competent, giving, ethical, and engaged in the challenges and opportunities today and tomorrow. Congratulations to you, your family, friends, and supporters. Continue to learn, continue to achieve, enjoy today, and we wish you the very best for the future. It is now my pleasure to introduce Denise Woolard, MLA for Edmonton Mill Creek.
Thank you, Mr. Fair. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Turpin, Mr. Stollery, our distinguished dignitaries and other guests, faculty, staff, graduates, family, and friends. It is a privilege to bring greetings on behalf of Premier Rachel Notley, Advanced Minister, Education Minister Marlon Schmidt, and my colleagues in the Government of Alberta. Thank you for inviting me to this significant and momentous occasion for students of agricultural, life, and environmental sciences at the university. It's an honor to join all of you here on such a special day in your lives. Now, I'd really like to begin by offering my congratulations to Mr. Dennis Anderson for being recognized today with an honorary Doctor of Laws degree. In addition to his tireless advocacy for mental health, Dennis has been active in politics in Alberta and has done extensive international work advocating for fair elections, democracy, and mental health. So congratulations, Mr. Anderson, for this well-deserved honor. Now today, graduates, I'm sure we all feel an enormous sense of pride in what you have accomplished and the excitement of new beginnings as you set forth to put into practice all the skills and knowledge which you have acquired during your university studies. Convocation marks the closing of one chapter of your lives and the opening of another, greater one. After the handshakes and hugs, after the pictures are taken and the toasts are raised, you will set out into a province and a world that need you. Your education, which you worked so hard to attain, will enable you to help discover and develop the economic, scientific, social, and creative solutions we need and from which we will all benefit. At any time, and especially in difficult times, access to quality post-secondary education is vital. Education is the single most important investment a society, a government, and an individual can make. Our government restored education funding and froze tuition and fees in order to keep a quality education accessible and affordable. You have invested your time, money, and hard work, the rewards of which you are celebrating today and will celebrate in the future. I have a quote that I really like. It's from William Butler Yeats, in which he called education the lighting of a fire, a fit description for the igniting of curiosity and creativity that grow from the gaining of knowledge. Learning is the foundation of a life well lived. It forms the deep roots of a vibrant community and the best promise for a stronger Alberta. Today, with the love and support of your family, friends, and community, we praise you for the months and years of effort that have led you to this ceremony, and we trust the future to your care. Congratulations and thank you.
It's now my pleasure to invite the President of the University of Alberta, Dr. David Turpin, to address Convocation.
Eminent Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of the Academy, staff, family, friends, and especially our graduates, congratulations and well done. If we have done our job well, you are feeling a tremendous amount of accomplishment today because we've pushed you, asked you to work hard, to think in new ways and test your limits, and you've done it. I hope that you also feel prepared to pursue new challenges and ask even more of yourself in the days and years ahead, because we need you. We need your new ideas, your skills, and your energy. We need your enormous potential to help us build a better, stronger, more just and compassionate Canada. Your potential and capacity to help has particular meaning this year as we celebrate the 150th anniversary of Canada's Confederation. I was only 10 years old when Canada celebrated its centennial in 1967. My memories of that year are filled with the fun and the wonder of it. The Centennial train was making its way across the country. The Centennial Fitness Challenge tested every school child. And there were the space-age buildings of Montreal's Expo 67. Now, 50 years later, I have been thinking about what it means to be Canadian. One thread runs through it all: diversity. In 1967, although I was a so-called typical kid, I figured out early on that there were many ways to be Canadian. My family had ties to this part of the world that go back 7 generations. Both my grandmothers came from farming families, one from Saskatchewan and one from southern Alberta. On the other hand, both my grandfathers were immigrants to Canada. One was a Welsh opera singer who, in a very unlikely turn of events, fell in love when his company was touring through Calgary. It changed his life and mine, creating connections for me far beyond the borders of Canada that endure today. Those ties deepened and extended even further when I married my wife Shiramithra and became part of her family. She was born in Germany and then immigrated with her family from India to Canada in the 1960s. And our family in India is very much a part of our lives. As I've grown older, my many Canadas have included living in Alberta's prairies and foothills, BC's rainforests and seacoasts, and Eastern Ontario's Canadian Shield, Great Lakes, and rivers. I know my story is not unique. I expect that many of you experience a similar layering of identity and connection. There is no one Canada. We are all many cultures, histories, languages, and geographies in one. This is the very essence of the Canadian adventure. Lester Pearson, Canada's Prime Minister in 1967, said, "Out of this diversity must come unity." I thought of this 2 weeks ago when I joined members of Alberta's Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities in the circle of a pipe ceremony. We were preparing to sign a memorandum of understanding with the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. As we were sitting in that circle, Elder Jerry Saddleback told us, "We are all in unison, held in equal esteem." We exemplified unity in diversity. Each of us equal in our distance from the center, but with slightly different perspectives. Unity in diversity. Can we achieve reconciliation without it? How can we build a better Canada without continuing to pursue the great Canadian adventure of finding unity in diversity? For me, a better Canada would ensure that all people feel welcome, safe, and accepted, and able to give back to their communities regardless of their background. A better Canada would engage peoples and countries around the world, not for self-interest, but for our common interest. A better Canada would be innovative and in the forefront of the global knowledge economy. In short, a better Canada would be one of the most socially, culturally, economically, and environmentally prosperous of nations. So what does a better Canada look like to you? When you look ahead to Canada's next 50 years, the 50 years that your generation will shape, what can you do to make our country better for all? I look at the auditorium today, and I see many Canadas reflected back to me in your faces. That diversity is a tremendous strength, but it is a strength we cannot take for granted. We can, instead, be tempted to draw definite borders around who we are and limit what it means to be Canadian. But what would be the result? Look back over our first 150 years, and you can see that Canada has been scarred by such attempts to fix our identity. We need only think of the residential school system or the Chinese head tax to see that limiting our definition of Canadian has hurt our First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples, as well as numerous immigrant and other minority communities, all of whom, without exception, have done so much to build this country. When I think of the divisiveness and isolationism present in so much political discourse across the world today, I fear that we have failed to learn this lesson. We seem to be choosing instead to sit in our own customized echo chambers, where we literally don't have to see or hear from those we'd rather not acknowledge. As members of the University of Alberta's diverse community, you have a great advantage. While studying at the U of A, you have encountered and listened to people who have ideas and perspectives different than your own. You opened yourself to each other and created a space where you could hear each other, see from each other's perspectives, and find solutions together. Finding what is common between us, using our differences to be innovative and creative. These are skills you've developed here, and I ask you to use and expand them through the years ahead. When you reflect back in 50 years on how Canada has changed since Canada 150, I hope that you will be able to look back with the knowledge that you took these skills and your own particular talents and potential to help make Canada a better place for all of us. Take inspiration from the thousands of U of A alumni who have already left a tangible legacy in every sector of society, in the laws they have written, the movements they have led, the scientific discoveries that have changed our lives, the businesses they've built, and the students they have taught. And now, it's your turn. It's your turn to step up. It's your turn to build a better, stronger, more prosperous, just, and compassionate Canada. The next 50 years are yours, so take advantage of it. To each and every one of you, congratulations, and we look forward with great anticipation to all your future accomplishments. Congratulations and thank you.
Knowledge shall not be the concern of scholars alone. The uplifting of the whole people shall be its final goal.
They inspire us all with their brilliance, creative force, and fervent desire to make the world a better place.
I accept in the name of our poor people.
Dream your dreams. It is possible to have a new kind of world.
Those who receive an honorary degree from the University of Alberta set the highest standards of dedication and excellence for students and for society at large.
You will always find it, your own courage or theirs, in the eyes of the other.
Go where there's no path and leave a trail for someone else.
And while their backgrounds and fields of endeavor vary widely, all are exceptional.
Maybe it's best if I just speak from the heart.
I will remember you. Will you remember me?
We face today a clash of ignorances.
You are who make the history. You are who create the future.
U of A honorary degree recipients embody the university's vision to inspire the human spirit through outstanding achievements in learning, discovery, and citizenship in a creative community.
I think we are now in the threshold of a new beginning.
It is a spirit that is building one of the world's great universities for the public good.
It is your attitude that will sustain you. It is not what happens to you, it is what you do with it.
Travel well, travel without prejudice, live long and prosper.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of the University of Alberta, it is our privilege to introduce Dennis Lester Anderson for the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws, our learning community's highest honor. Dennis Anderson has had a distinguished career serving Alberta and Canada. Elected 4 times to the Alberta Legislature, he served as Minister of Culture and Multiculturalism, Municipal Affairs and Housing, and Consumer and Corporate Affairs. He was also Deputy Government House Leader, Chair of the Heritage Savings and Trust Fund, and Chair of the Health Facilities Review Committee. He played major roles in international development and constitutional affairs as one of Canada's primary advisors regarding institutional reform. As Honorary Consul General to Thailand and Honorary Trade Advisor to the Thailand Ministry of Commerce, he has worked on a range of international projects and was honored as a companion of the Most Noble Order of the Crown of Thailand. Closer to home, he has served as a member of the Edmonton Police Commission, a director of the Alberta Drug Education and Aid Society, and a member of the Assured Income for the Severely Handicapped Appeals Panel.
Mr. Anderson has also devoted much of his life to increasing public awareness regarding prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of mental illness. He served on the Mental Health Commission of Canada and founded the CHIMO Project, receiving a Heroes Award for furthering the cause of animal-assisted mental health therapy in Canada. Dennis was the founding chair of the Alberta Alliance for Mental Illness and Mental Health, a coalition that continues to work with governments and agencies to improve the healthcare system. He received the Medal of Honor from the Alberta Medical Association for outstanding personal contributions to the quality of healthcare in Alberta, and he received the C.M. Hinks National Award for volunteer activities on behalf of people with mental illness. A founding chair of the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on Mental Health and Addiction, he received the Canadian Mental Health Association President's Cup, the highest award for advocacy, as well as being the Caring Canadian, as well as receiving the Canadian Award, Caring Canadian Award from the Office of the Governor General. His enduring positive influence is a powerful reminder to everyone in our learning community that as we seek the uplifting of the whole people, it is just as important to seek the uplifting of the whole person. This morning we celebrate Dennis Anderson's outstanding commitment to public service. Eminent Chancellor, with great pride and respect, we present to you Dennis Lester Anderson.
Dennis Lester Anderson, in recognition of outstanding leadership and advocacy on mental health, I desire to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws, and to express the hope that we shall continue to be enriched by your wise counsel for many years to come. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Eminent Chancellor, Your Honor, Board Chair, President, Platform Party, family, friends, and graduates, thank you for this honorable honorary degree. I know that many of you here today are receiving degrees, as has been mentioned, and that you've worked so hard to achieve them. My congratulations for your success. I know that despite receiving this honorary degree, I do not have the information that you do, but let me tell you a couple of the things that I have learned. In a way, this may be more unique for me than many people who receive an honorary degree. In part because I left home when I was young. I had no money, no support base. I had not finished high school. And although I took many classes, this is my first degree. Robert Orban said, "A graduation ceremony is an event where the commencement speaker tells thousands of students dressed in identical caps and identical gowns that individuality is the key to success." Well, that's kind of what I'm going to say. When I left home, I also had to find a reason for life. And it may seem a bit foolish, but I decided that to change the world for the better was the reason for my existence. For me, and I believe for you, we must truly feel worthwhile in this fast-moving, very complex society. We must not just work at our occupation, but also work to improve the society. I have been fortunate to work with and talk to premiers, presidents, kings, and queens, and they've been some great people with great information, and I'm pleased to have had that honor. But I have to say that of all those that I've known, the one who has interested me the most is sitting here on this platform, and his name is Austin Martin. He is challenged by the difficult mental health issue of schizophrenia. And yet, he does not stop helping others. He does not stop trying to improve the world on a daily basis. And he's received very many medals and honorary degrees for that reason. As you know, the world is changing rapidly, and the good part of that is that you can see the world in a computer moment. When I was young, you couldn't get near the information you can today. And you can see what interests you almost immediately. On the other side, however, the emotional social media that is having such an effect on democracy does not give people the depth of information that they need to make democracy work as it should. I can say, quite honestly, there is much more commitment today in the world and certainly in our country on mental health. Many more programs, many people working for it. But the problem is the statistics will still show that our problems have not decreased, and in many cases have increased quite dramatically. The people today, in part, are because we text and we tweet rather than meet with each other, talk, and get to know each other. And that leaves us without that feeling of worth and value, especially some children, that is very necessary for all of us. A guy named Joe Poolmary said, "You can Google for an answer, you can Google for a mate, you can Google for a career, but you can't Google to find out what is in your heart or the passion that lifts you skyward." Where I saw the best mental health programs in the world was in the south of India, at a place called the Chalamuthu Trust. In 10 different parts of India, they had people who all of their goal was to make them feel happy. The clients were singing, dancing, connecting. All clients were actually paid, although it was more like $0.01 a day. Still, it was meant to make them feel worthwhile. All of their professionals in all the programs ate with the clients and lived with the clients and their life to help them make them better. What we can do is work with each other to make a positive feeling there for all of us. And if you have an environmental or agricultural occupation, which many of you will have, or others, my humble advice is don't just do your job, but keep in close contact with not just your colleagues, but others in your community as well. There is also evidence that animals can give great love and affection and a base for life, that sometimes our own human complexities and constant judgments of each other make it a little more difficult. It's a situation that I would not be here today if it wasn't for a dog. When I was young, felt worthless and useless, I went to jump off a bridge. And if the dog hadn't followed me and pulled at my pant leg and showed me that something cared and thought I was worth something, you wouldn't see me today. I'd have been gone. Audrey Hepburn said, "I love people who make me laugh. I honestly think that the thing I like most is to laugh. It cures a multitude of ills. It's probably the most important thing in a person." You know, I used to be quite concerned with academia because I would see the people who knew absolutely everything that I thought were sitting in the ivory tower and not coming down to help the community improve. In many respects, I was very wrong. But for example, the psychiatric professors here at this university work not only to educate people, but they work with the community in their spare time to try and help them improve mental health and other issues. In any case, I congratulate all of you for your degrees today, and I thank my many friends and relatives for being here to make me feel positive this day. I'll say one more thing before I finish, and that is in Thailand, New Year's is called Songkran. And they believe that every New Year you should wash away any problems you've had in the past and start life anew. I think that's something that all of us may sometimes want to think about as we go through our life. In any case, congratulations again. Thank you so much to the university for what they have given me, and I wish you the very best.
Dr. Anderson, thank you for that truly inspiring address and for working to make the world a better place. Please join me to sign the University Honor Roll to commemorate your honorary degree. Dr. Anderson, you are now a member of the University of Alberta Honorary Degree family. And now, graduates, it is your turn. As the name of each graduate is called to the stage, I will formally admit you to your degrees, and we will have an opportunity to congratulate you. On your journey across the stage, you will also walk past the University of Alberta ceremonial mace. Centuries ago, the mace was a symbol of authority over life and death. Today, this mace represents the life-changing power of knowledge and the importance of our university and our alumni in our community. I look forward to greeting you on stage.
Would the candidates for degrees please rise and follow on page 5 of the Convocation program. Please rise, all graduates that are receiving today. You have a speaking role, so please follow along on page 5. Eminent Chancellor and President, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you these scholars and ask that they be pledged and admitted to the degrees to which they are entitled.
Do you promise faithfully to observe and loyally to maintain the statutes, customs, privileges, and liberties of this, your university? Do you solemnly promise to conduct yourself in all things loyally and faithfully to the honor of your university, the encouragement of learning, and the good of your country?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of this province and with the consent of this university, I admit you to the degrees to which you are entitled and invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining to such degrees. I charge you to use them for the uplifting of the whole people, to inspire the human spirit, for all who believe to serve your God, and to pursue more steadfastly whatsoever things are true. Please be seated.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of Professor Stanford Blade and Professor Heather Zwicker, I present the following graduates for degrees in the Faculty of Agricultural, Life and Environmental Sciences and Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Elireza Akavan. Sharon Dorothy Anderson. Nandika Priyantha Bandara. Shanyao Chen. Yuan Yao Chen. Mariam Ebadi. Pui Kun Hong. Charita Jason Hoogie. Shadi Nayeri. Enid Perez Lara. Alida Louise G. Haesong. Christopher Alex Stockdale. Xiao Hong Sun. Li Sha Zhao. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Master of Arts, Stephanie Joanne Holt. Sarah Elizabeth Woodyard. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Master of Science, Laura Mackenzie Adam. Darskadar Wuke Amsalu. Isabella Barbosa Pereira Carniero. Laurie Ann Frericks. Candace Lynn Griffith. Ketmi Jayawardena. Chi Yi Lee. Nian Liu. Ronald Nyandoru. Prem Pokarl. Sarah Grace Prescott. Caitlin Dawn Sherman. Arisha Siras, I should say. Yihan Zhao. Mongran Zhou. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Master of Forestry, Hengfei Ge. Yufing Zhang. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of Professor Stanford Blade, I present the following graduates for degrees in the Faculty of Agricultural, Life, and Environmental Sciences. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science, the recipient of the Dean's Medal in Agricultural, Life, and Environmental Sciences, and the Amy M. Coates Memorial Medal in Foods and Nutrition, Lisa Kathleen Crystal with distinction.
This year's recipient of the Dean's Medal in Agricultural, Life, and Environmental Sciences is Lisa Crystal. This is awarded to the graduating student with the highest academic standing in the final 2 years of the program. The medal is donated annually by the Faculty of Agricultural, Life, and Environmental Sciences. Lisa graduates today with a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science and completion of the Integrated Dietetic Internship. Dedicated to campus and community engagement, she has volunteered with the Healthy Chefs program to lead cooking classes for elementary school children and help prepare a nutrition display for the residents of the long-term care facility. Upon graduation, Lisa will begin her career working as a clinical dietitian, where she looks forward to the opportunity to support patients and their health. Lisa, congratulations.
Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, Shi Chun Bai with distinction. Melanie Ann Boros. Jessica Ann Carline. Paul Michael Montgomery Layton. Ji-Chun Lee. Ryan John Valentine Lutz. Lee Robert Noble. Alexandra Lynn Rondo with distinction. Alexandra Shuttleworth, I beg your pardon, Alexandra. Sarah Brianne Strambicki. Catherine Heather Thompson. Jiaoping Wang. Willa Wang. Jiao Wang. Erin Emily Weesey. Catherine Rebecca Wiring with distinction. Kendall Alicia Zaharko. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Food Science, Chantel Ann Benson. Tanya Louise Cassar with distinction. Kendra Ray Chow. Lauren Brittany Chow. Andrea Larissa Daco with distinction. Hannah Jo Ing Dai. Nicole Dang. Karen Danois. Rachel Jane Delacheroy with distinction. Nicole Marie Deschner. Shedran Ding. Lauren Elizabeth Trudy Doskotch with distinction. Receiving both his Bachelor of Science and a Certificate in Sustainability, Jeffrey Hai Duong. Philip Elson. Shauna Marie Falls. Recipient of the Medal in Food Science, Jordan Christopher Gentile with distinction. Lindsay Bridget Gervais. Chelsea Mei-Ling Graham. Haley Marie Goliaths with distinction. Monique Christine Hollowatch with distinction. Mackenzie Lee Irving. Yenzon Jen. Nantini K. Rajukumaran. Stacy Ann Elizabeth Klimo. Esther Luck with distinction. Natasha Carly Ladd. Hugh Wing Lau. Christine Lirette. Ting Ting Liu. Celine Magalona. Hannah Marie Mason. Arlene Mateo. Devon Nicole McNabb. Jorge Mosavi. Ha Toi Naknuan. Kayla Brendan Nielsen. Jenny Patel. Haley May Pickard. Huimin Chu. Yan Zhao Run with distinction. Alina Rudnick with distinction. Divya Sharma. Mengxin Su. Quincy Ann Taylor. Stephanie Andrea Tewitz. Alexandra Timchak with distinction. Y. Yan Wang. Zi Shi Shao. Yunke Shu. Yun Yang. Yue Ye. Fuyao Zhou. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Forestry, Emma Duranowski with distinction. Anthony Gus Fisher with distinction. Sule Hu. Simon Alexander Lamoureux. Siyu Liao. Lindsay Alida Shannon. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Food Business Management, Tongwei Bai. Bolakumi Victoria Banjo. Yu Feng with distinction. Chi Liu. Marcin Marek Makarevich. Yang Si. Sheng Song. Pan Pan Sun. Rui Wu. Yun Kun Wu. Jing Xia. Zhang Yuan Shu. Qi Yan. Kai Hua Ya. Yang, I should say. Lun Yang. Shui Dan Zhang. Hong Yi Zhuge. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental and Conservation Sciences, Daniel Joseph Peter Adams. Yare Gure Aden. Lynette Renee Alamand with distinction. Jennifer Faye Berry with distinction. Ashley Lauren Bertram. Tristan Justine Bissett. Kayla Nadine Bourgoin. Cassandra Amber Brooke. Chloe Ann Christensen. Melanie Decapelle with distinction. Shona Joanne Durlakaloch. Celiane Fu with distinction. Madison Jennifer Forrester. Receiving today both her Bachelor of Science and a certificate in Global Citizenship, Kiana Marie Gallagher with distinction. Pei Ning Guan with distinction. Morgan Jane Higginson. Michael Shu Cheng Huang with distinction. Jia Rui. Rebecca Jean Keating with distinction. Brenna Megan Kelly with distinction. Nathaniel Justin Keane. Julian Marie Kirby with distinction. Erin Therese Kohler. Vincent Chifong Law. Luke Mitchell Litvak. Receiving today both her Bachelor of Science and her Certificate in Sustainability, Leanne Lowry. Dominic Martin Maroney. Nicole Michelle Moen with distinction. Jessica Newman with distinction. Anita Veronica Nowinka with distinction. Riley James Ostland with distinction. Rochelle Ann Patterson. Janelle Nicole Peltier. Chloe Megan Reed. Jordan Rachel Renault. Kayla Tiffany Rice. Amber Dawn Faith Robinson with distinction. Catherine Louisa Rogers with distinction. Ashley Marie Sarar with distinction. Kale Linda Scarf with distinction. Receiving today both her Bachelor of Science and a Certificate in Sustainability, Fatima Hassan Shire with distinction. Shang Ying Shu. Emma Ann Troche. Jordan Allen Webb. Peony Wong. Emily Caitlin Wu with distinction. Brian Yakamets. Chung Tao Yan. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Human Ecology, Sybil Victoria Cameron. Mercedes Cormier. Andrea Isabel Embernati de Ocampo with distinction. Lisa Kathleen Gainey with distinction. Recipient of the Warren W. and Ida E. Pravey Memorial Medal in Home Economics, Danielle Elizabeth Griffin with distinction. Emily Lauren Hensby. Leah Karen Johnson. Jennifer Erin Cowton with distinction. Courtney Marguerite Lacoste with distinction. Suzanne Jane Lewis. Mary Joyce Marceliana Lumenglass. Noel Jacob Nardelli with distinction. Melissa Marie Nilsson. Receiving both her Bachelor of Science and Certificate in Interdisciplinary Leadership Studies, Sydney Petrovich with distinction. Anel Rakisheva. Nicole Shelley Smith with distinction. Jessica Dawn Sparks. Anne Elizabeth Thomas with distinction. Xiaoxia Tong. Anna Vo. Shuhan Wang. Jia Yun Wen. Abi Suzanne Wong with distinction. Eminent Chancellor, Eminence, for the degree of au grade de bilingual Bachelor of Science in Environmental and Conservation Sciences, baccalauréat bilingue et sciences de l'environnement et de la conservation, Kezia Lille Lescaut-Gosselin. Kieran Robert Maxwell with distinction. Hannah Anne-Marie Tremblay. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Animal Health, Shaylee Don Albert. Kelsey Renee Adamanchuk with distinction. Jasmine Kaur Bra. Erin Nicole Carlson with distinction. Joanna Cho. Brenna Lynn Clark with distinction. Heather Lynn Erin Coates with distinction. Keith Garrett Cruikshank. Jenny Cumberland. Grace Luann Curry. Lazar Skianovich. Kelsey Barbara Dawson. Jeannie Dupreez. Courtney Jordan Evans. Caitlin Danielle Haberly. Laura Lee Hockey. Amy Helfrich. Andrea Christina Hemmelrich. Alexandra Shane Kinnear. Toke Kozak. Browan Hannah Lawton. Maria Veronica Laya Alonso with distinction. Shin Lee. Mandy Yu Min Lin. Erin Page Mills with distinction. Sarah Ann Nowicki with distinction. Danica Brian Pistuka with distinction. Arvin Joseph Hilario Pitagan. Gillian Faye Helen Saunders with distinction. Christine Ashley Schapp with distinction. Elise Claire Semchuk. Taylor Jean Smithson with distinction. Catherine Elizabeth Smith with distinction. Cassandra Bernice Storr. Jolene May Wheatley. Eminent Chancellor for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies. Receiving today both his Bachelor of Arts and a certificate in sustainability, Edwin Asime Edu. Alana Bina Greenslade. Denny Kai Yin Huang with distinction. Eilish Tammy Lynn McKinley. Andrea Christine Miller. Leon Milner. Receiving today her Bachelor of Arts, Certificate in Global Citizenship, and a Certificate in Sustainability, Yashashwini Parmar. Andreana Nadia Saluk. And Wenjia Zhang.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you the remaining scholars whose names appear in the Convocation program but who are not in attendance.
Well, graduates, you made it. Now you are officially on the other side. Could I ask everybody to join me in congratulating the class of 2017? Well, now, graduates, it's your turn. I'm going to ask you to stand up and turn around and give all those people who have supported you through all of this, your parents and siblings, your grandparents, your spouses, your children, and your friends, stand up, turn around, give them a huge round of applause. Today is truly a proud moment for them and for the University of Alberta. In total, we have graduated 6,683 students over the past 2 weeks. So now that I've got you all back with us, it's time to turn our attention to the final part of today's ceremony. Before you are formally inducted into the University of Alberta Alumni Association, I invite you to watch the screens for the presentation of a special video montage. The song that accompanies the video, Je te retrouve, or I Remember You, was commissioned by Campus Saint-Jean in 2008 to honor the University of Alberta's centenary. It captures the hopefulness and potential of days spent at the university and hopefully sparks your own memories of your years here. The song is also a display of many U of A talents. It was composed by Professor Emeritus Dr. Franz Lavassier-Ouimet and arranged by U of A alumnus Dr. Alan Bevan. The recording is by Chorale Saint-Jean under the direction of Laurier Fagnan. Please enjoy.
Eminent Chancellor, thank you. To the 2017 graduating class, congratulations and welcome. My name is Jacob Onishchuk, and I graduated from the University of Alberta in 2013, and it is my honor to congratulate you on becoming a University of Alberta alumnus and to officially welcome you into our alumni family. You are joining a proud and inspired group of graduates, committed to each other's success and committed to building the University of Alberta into one of the world's great universities for the public good. I call upon you to stay connected with each other, with other alumni, and with your university throughout your lifetime. We will be there for you, for each other, and for our university. I also call upon you to go out from this place and be inspired by the promise and challenge of our alumni to do great things. Our alumni have done many great things in the past. Now, it's your turn. Great things are actions big and small. They can take place anywhere, anytime. They support other alumni, the university, and our society, and they come from using the knowledge and talents you have gained here for the betterment of yourselves and others. Congratulations, and best wishes in all your future endeavors. And now, please turn your attention back to the screen.
No matter what your story, where you came from, what it took to get here, at this place, you were welcomed. You became part of our family. At this place, you inherited a spirit of innovation, of action, of coming together to uplift the whole people. Our school and our spirit have grown, but we still learn, innovate, lead, solve problems, take action. We raise up our communities, and we help others succeed. We are University of Alberta alumni, and for more than a century, we have come together and carved a new trail for those who follow. Together, we are stronger. Together, we shine brighter. Together, from this place into the world. Together, we have and we will do great things.
In closing, I'd like to offer a few words of thanks. Dr. Dennis Anderson, thank you once again for sharing your story and your wisdom with our university family. You are an inspiring example of leadership, service, and accomplishment. In accepting this honorary degree, you bring great honor to the University of Alberta. I also wish to thank our talented vocalist, Ms. Michaela Chisty, and our outstanding Convocation band under the direction of Dr. Thomas Dust. And I wish to acknowledge the staff of the Office of the Registrar for their organization of today's Convocation. To our graduates, congratulations for all that you have accomplished leading up to the conferral of your degree. Today is an important milestone in a journey of lifelong learning. Wherever your dreams may take you, I invite you to remain close to your alma mater, the University of Alberta. I'm pleased to invite you and your guests to join us in the main floor and first balcony lobbies for refreshment and fellowship. One final thought. Your degree will open new horizons for you and for our entire community. As you contemplate your future, be mindful of the fact that of all the things you may do, of all the successes you may achieve, nothing is more important than the kindness you show to others. Congratulations.